the Mondstadt story for Genshin Impact, I figured it would be important for us to go ahead and take a little bit of a dive into Little Light Studios again. So it's time we return to Little Light Studios, but not for Anime Exposed or even their new video, or no, they're not new, it's not really new at all, but their other movie, Control. We're not returning to them for any of that. No. 4 days ago, they made a new video talking about how Genshin Impact is of the devil. Now, as somebody who played through, at the very least, the Mondstadt story for Genshin Impact, I figured it would be important for us to go ahead and take a little bit of a dive into Little Light Studios again. Now, but before we get into that topic, let's go ahead and get into the fan art section. This one is from Unholy Noise. I like robots and catgirls. Why not combine them to make a slime bot, Suris? There are so many things going on in this picture, and I do not understand, but they all look great. We have a mecha with what looks to be slime, almost organic parts. The belly is protruding a little bit. This looks almost vaguely kangaroo-ish. There are slime Surises coming out of the tail. There is a lot going on with this piece. I think I love it. I don't know how to feel about it. It terrifies my soul, but I also think it's really fucking cool. The next one we have here is from Ormsgalder. Slime Suris, but Elvira. I don't know who that is. Also, why do Hero Forged models have such gigantic hands? The next one we have is... Oh god, what in the world is this? This one is from Mathematical Cabbage, and it says Snail Suris, and I don't understand. I'm going away now. Woo! As always, everybody, thank you all for your fan art submissions. If you want your fan art to be shown in a future video, the best way to do so is to drop it into the fan art section of the Discord. With that all said, if you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so, and hit the like button if you haven't already.
Genshin Impact, it's like the most played video game right now. It is in the top 20 all across all platforms. We're going to get right into this because I want you to know exactly why no Christians should be playing this game. Who is the villain? The sustainer of the heavenly principles, the unknown God, and simply God.
No, simply the God. The God. Have you... Okay, Little Light Studios, have you ever considered that the villain of a game might be a deity, but not your deity? Have you ever known that? Have you ever thought about that? Also, Asmodee, as in Asmodeus, as in the biblical demon? I'm sorry, but Little Light Studios, how stuck up do you have to be to just immediately go, well, the villain is a god, therefore it must be mine. It must be my god specifically. Like, bitch, where?
God is the villain. God is the villain, the one who sustains the heavenly...
A different god in a different world with different heavenly principles.
Principles. What are the heavenly principles? The 10 Commandments. Thou shalt not kill.
Wait, does Genshin Impact ever talk about the 10 Commandments? Ever? I don't think it does.
Thou shalt not lie. Thou shalt not commit adultery. These are good things, moral things that even an atheist can agree with, right?
I mean, I don't give a shit about at least the lie part, or... Wait, thou shalt not lie isn't a commandment! What? No! They've already got that shit wrong! It's thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor! That's about a court of fucking law, you dillholes! Thou shalt not lie is not a goddamn commandment! How do you get that wrong? How do you get that incorrect? You could read the verse yourself!
Right? So why would we be playing a video game where the villain is the one who sustains these principles?
Again, it's not those principles. It is just a concept called the heavenly principles. But there's this thing Little Light Studios does all the time where they take their idea of Christianity, their idea of the Bible, and they superimpose it into everything, even if that thing has nothing to do with their lore, with the lore of their Bible specifically. Abel Swords, thank you for redeeming your points for an Ara. You fucking degen.
If you go to the wiki and see, notice it's Villains wiki. She is the evildoer. Yes.
Wait, but I thought God wasn't female.
It's a she, and her name is Asmodee, also known as the sustainer of the heavenly principles.
You've already said
the
that.
Unknown God.
I'm speeding you up. You're saying the same shit over and over again.
And simply, the God is an overarching antagonist of the 2020 action role-playing fantasy game Genshin Impact. Now look over here where it says her hobbies. Hobbies is upholding the heavenly principles. What a beautiful hobby to have, right? Upholding.
Which are they? Are they the heavenly principles of the Bible, or are they the heavenly principles of her own court, in her own story, in her own canon, in this other world?
These wonderful moral laws. Love your neighbor. Do not steal from them. Do not envy their things. Do not murder them. Do not commit adultery with their wives, right? Everyone should agree with these things. That should not be a villain, right?
But that's not the shit that is said in the game. I'm here. Comment section. We gotta go into the comment section. Has anybody else called him out for this shit? Thank you for another informative video. Good of you to put the time in to try to save people. The little fairies who guides the player from the start of the game has the name of a demon from the demonology books. The movie Hereditary got the same demon in it. Wait, Paimon? Emergency food? That's your demon? Thank you for your presentation. Wonder if they actually say anything here. Oh my god.
Now look at the goals. The goals says to keep the balance between the universe pure, to prevent mankind from traveling across dimensions.
Yeah, but why do those two things matter? Within the context of the game is what you need to be looking at, not what this means within the context of the Bible. This is a separate story from the Bible.
These are good things. This being...
Wait. Not traveling across dimensions is a good thing? That seems to be a pretty, I don't know, neutral thing at best.
This God who upholds the heavenly principles has a goal of keeping the universe pure. Yeah, let's fight that villain, that evil, tyrannical villain, right?
Yeah, but what does keeping the balance between things pure, what does that mean? Like, surely you understand that's a nothing statement, right? I keep the balance between universes pure. What does that mean? What does it mean to keep balance pure? That's like saying that the taste of lemon is purple. It's a nothing statement without any qualifiers.
This is insanity that this has become mainstream. You know, we've been talking about this for years, that in Disney, it's always break the rules, follow your heart. And the superheroes, they kind of disguise it. It's like, oh, it's Thanos. He's an evil villain, but he's an all-powerful God sitting on a throne in the heavens, in the sanctuary, who's coming to Earth to snap his fingers and separate the wheat from the tares.
He's not even a god. What? He's a titan. That's not a god. Even the Greeks got that one right.
But why do we always got to make it about the Bible, right? Well, let's
Growlithe
see.
is barking.
Beelzebul. Sounds a lot like Beelzebub, right? You guys ever heard that? Beelzebub? Look, no.
Yeah, just like Asmodeus is also a demon name. Jesus Christ. She do be barking.
Notice it says, where this yellow arrow says it's a do-gooder. This Beelzebul is a do-gooder down here. With the red circle, it says Baal. Baal. Another name for this character is Baal, the god of eternity. Oh, the god of eternity is Baal now? A good guy, a do-gooder? Over here in the alias.
You mean in the fictional story on the fictional planet with the fictional people that don't exist? Yes, we can use names pulled from other mythos, including yours, to make our own stories.
It says Beelzebul, Baal. Now, maybe I'm just twisting this. Maybe Beelzebul, that's different from Beelzebub. Maybe it's not the same thing. Well, let's look at the encyclopedia. Beelzebul. Beelzebul is a name used in the New Testament for the prince of demons. Notice it says Beelzebul, not Beelzebub. But when you look down here, it says, although Beelzebub rather than Beelzebul appears in older Catholic translations of the
What was that edit? That was weird.
Bible, Beelzebub is found only in the Latin. So it's in the Greek manuscripts that we have Beelzebul. So the good guy is the prince of demons, Beelzebul, another name for Satan. And who is the villain? The unknown God that upholds the heavenly principles and has a goal of keeping the universes pure.
Whose name is Asmodee, as in Asmodeus. It's Asmodeus versus Beelzebub. I don't see how you can't understand that Yahweh is one character in religious mythos, and Asmodeus is a different character in religious mythos. And by saying that the unknown God, quote, quote, who is literally named in that story, who is named Asmodee, is somehow Yahweh. It's almost as if the people over at Little Light Studios don't know how to read, which we certainly know they don't.
Where are we at as society? Another good guy character, a playable character. Notice it says do-gooder. I'm not just making this stuff up. Do-gooder. One of his aliases is the Pride of Oni. Right there in the circled in red. It's kind of hard to see it small. The Pride of Oni. Well, what is an Oni? First of all, I want to talk about pride. Who was the first being in existence to ever experience pride? If you look in the Bible and look at all the descriptions of Lucifer, it says that pride came up into his heart, and that's why he fell to earth. That's why he was cast to earth, because of pride. And his
Wait, is it? I'm actually fairly certain in all the times I've read the Bible, there is not a single time where it says that Satan was the first person to ever experience pride. It may say many times that pride was a downfall of his, yes, 110%, but I'm fairly certain there's not anywhere where it says that he is the first to ever experience pride. That feels like extra-textual extrapolation to a just a major degree.
heart. But what is an Oni? O-N-I, what is that? Define Oni is a kind of demon.
Yeah, in Japanese mythos, not in the Bible, my guy.
It's a Japanese demon. This is a Japanese-made game. This is based off of, like...
It's not a Japanese-made game. Genshin Impact is actually made by a Chinese company. But, you know, something, Little Light Studios thinks everybody from the East looks the same, sounds the same, is the same. Who knows? I'm certainly not going to accuse them of racism. I'll just imply it.
Anime. And so that's what we see. We see a lot of these common threads in anime. I'm about to show you that at the end of this. But we see this, even in America, we see the same thread. We see the same Gnostic gospel where Satan is the good guy, God is the villain, but usually it's sugar-coated, like, oh, it's Thanos, he's a purple alien. But in Japan...
Have you ever considered that the reason that exists is, as I've said when I've covered your Anime Exposed series, is expressly because we as people, when we see the same narrative for 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 years, we have a tendency to want to subvert that narrative. It's a reason why the deconstruction genre is such a big thing in not just anime, but in all media. What is Evangelion? Well, it's a deconstruction of what Gundam was. It's a deconstruction of mecha genres. What is Madoka Magica? Well, it's not a magical girl show, definitely. It's a deconstruction of a magical girl show. The entire point of that story is to take what you know and understand about one type of storytelling, throw it on its head so that you can create something wholly new and unique. This is no different than if we look at the Bible as a piece of literature. If we divorce it from just being an inspiration for religiosity, if we look at it as a piece of text, then of course we as human beings are going to take that piece of text and do with it what we've done with every other narrative that has ever been spoken about in human history. We're going to turn it on its head at some point and create narratives where the roles are flipped. The mistake Little Light Studios makes, as they make with every single thing they ever make, is ignoring the fact that by divorcing the Bible from the story that they are flipping the narrative from, they have already removed it from most of those biblical contexts. So it's no longer a story that is literally saying God is evil, Satan is good. It's a story existing for the sake of being a story that happens to have characters that are very much like the characters in the Bible, but they've stopped being those characters the minute that we've divorced it from its original context. If we held every single story of note in such high regard that every single adaptation that tried to do something different with it was spat upon as something horrible, then we would never get, well, you mentioned the Marvel Universe, it would be impossible to have that universe at all.
A place that has less than 1% of Christianity. Less than 1% of Christianity has all these biblical themes in it. But
almost as if the Bible is a basis for a lot of different stories that we use. Think about it. If you think of the idea of hell, you probably think of the biblical hell, despite the fact that that version of hell is not present in the Bible. That version of hell is present in the Apocalypse of Peter, and then was popularized in Dante's Inferno. It doesn't matter that less than 1% of the population of, you say Japan, but Japan's obviously not where we need to be looking because it's not a Japanese game, you clusterfuck. It doesn't matter what the population density of Japan is. All that matters is the context of those stories. Many of the things that we attribute to being important in those stories exist in extra textual adventures over and above what's in the original book.
You guys always got to twist things and make it... It's not about the Bible. I literally saw people in the chat saying, look, it's just a game. Not every game a kid plays is evil. But when the villain is God... Yep.
But the villain is Asmodeus. You literally said that earlier.
Holder of the heavenly principles, yes, that is evil. Now, this same character, we see his beginnings. It says, young Arataki Ito. Notice he's a small little red chibi with red horns. And then we have this video clip right here. This is a story, a kid-like story told about his beginnings, like how this Oni, this demon, wanted to be friends with the children. It's this whole sympathy for the devil. Check this out.
Is it sympathy for the devil, or is it sympathy for a demon? Are all demons the devil? Pretty sure that's also not biblical.
The red Oni, the demon, wanted to be friends with the humans, but the humans were mean to him, and they threw beans at him, and this whole sympathy story, boo-hoo for the devil, sympathy for the devil.
It's not sympathy for the devil. You literally keep on saying it is a demon. I don't know how often you can be wrong, flat-faced, and not accept that fact. If it is a story about a red Oni that is a character separate from whatever character would probably represent Satan in Genshin Impact, that is a different character. Like constantly trying to be like, sympathy for this demon, sympathy for the devil. No, you can't do that. You can't do that thing where you step to the right of what's being said. Use the story as it's being said, as it's being read, otherwise you're taking it out of context. And I know for a fact that that's a valid defense against the things that you do at Little Light Studios, because if I did the same thing for the Bible, then you would be accusing me for taking everything in that book out of context.
But then the blue Oni said, hey, I'll do something bad in the village. You run me off and you can be a hero. Notice he's playing both sides. The demon's playing both sides. Look, as Satan, he could say, I'm going to put an ailment on this person. And then when your witch doctor comes or your new age guru comes over and prays over you, then I'll relieve that person. I'll leave that person and they'll think that the witch doctor healed them or the new age person healed them. See, this...
How is this any different than when we actually see people trying to do faith healing in the church? And don't even say the difference is that one's real. We have literal statistical evidence that it's not.
Blue Oni said, I'll play the bad guy, you run me off, you can be the good guy. And all the humans praised him and accepted him as a friend with a demon. Now he's the hero. When you look up that character, he's literally on Hero Wiki. He is the hero. Now in this next clip, we're going to see another clip just verifying the same thing, that now he's a hero and they're humans or they get along.
Humans and Oni overcame their differences, and they all lived happily ever after.
Oh, the humans and the demons, they put aside their differences and lived happily ever after. Humanity with demons. But you never see this with, like, in humans, they befriended the good angels and they lived happily ever after and they...
Oh, wait, no, don't even, my guy. You don't want to go there. You don't want to get into this humans befriending demon tangent. Can we talk about the story of Sodom and Gomorrah for a minute? Guys, I have a question. What did the people of Sodom want to do to the guests in Sodom and Gomorrah? When God sent two guests to go visit Lot in Sodom and Gomorrah, what happened? Right, everybody in the city tried to rape the angels. My guy, you don't want to go down this route of, oh, they don't have any stories about humans and angels together. Yeah, no fucking duh. Your Bible has them, and it involves genocide. And people wanting angelacy, I guess. I'm sorry, the story of Sodom and Gomorrah is weird. It literally ends with Lot's daughters just raping him because they want to be able to carry the family line.
They wanted to fight for God against the demons. No, it's always an inversion. It's always, let's fight God, let's fight those heavenly principles, let's fight the Ten Commandments, and let's make friends.
Again, you keep saying that it's about fighting the Ten Commandments. There's not a point in that story where it says the Ten Commandments. That's not a thing that's said in there. Genshin Impact doesn't mention them.
With the demons. Look, the Bible says that in the last days, the dragon is going to come down with great wrath, with rage against those who keep the commandments of God and have the faith and testimony of Jesus Christ. This is prophecy. If you believe the Bible, then you believe that this is going to happen. That Satan is going to come against people who keep the commandments of God. And yet all this propaganda, from Disney to video games to movies like Marvel, everything is coming out saying, no, you need to fight against the Ten Commandments. We don't like those. We don't like the one who upholds those things. You are a villain.
Where do they literally say that, though? You keep saying that's a thing that happens, but I have a question, guys. At Little Light Studios, do you guys have yoga mats everywhere? Like literally strewn about the entire office? I would assume you do with the amount you have to stretch to make these points.
It's exactly what Satan is preparing the world for. How do you think we're going to get to a place where we are all worshiping the dragon? The world worships the dragon and helps him fight against people who keep the commandments. It's propaganda like this. We're seeing it. We're living in the last days. People, like, it is unfolding before.
People have been saying we're living in the past days for the last 2,000 years. Holy fucking shit. Please bring a scrap, an iota, some kind of evidence that we are about to experience a global apocalypse, and then maybe we'll go a little further. But till then, I'm going to have to stop you there.
For our eyes. Now, there's a part in the wiki that said Inversion of Genesis. So this game is literally an inversion of Genesis, an inversion of the Bible. Like, this is what we keep talking about. This is Gnosticism.
Have you ever considered that Genesis means more than just the first book in the Bible? Have you ever considered that Genesis is a word that has been used to mean multiple things, usually involving beginnings? Inversion of beginnings? Like, just the fact that it is a name for a book in your Bible does not mean that we cannot use that word to mean other things. This is like if I had to write a script in Times New Roman, and you just bursted into my house and started screaming about the different letters that Paul wrote to the Romans, and I just have to turn around and go, my guy, it's just a font. Please go away. That would be silly and stupid, wouldn't it? That's a very unlikely scenario. That's what you're doing right here with Genesis. We can use that word to mean more than the first book. It's okay.
We see it in all mainstream media. Now, what does GENSHIN mean? I looked it up on Quora. One of the answers says the word GENSHIN
He has an editing booth. He has the ability to not have these noises happen.
Now, what does GENSHIN mean? I looked it up on Quora. One of the answers says the word...
That thing? That was not a me thing. That's a him thing. He could have edited that out. He chose not to.
GENSHIN, translated allogenes in English, refers to humans who possess visions. Now, visions is something in the game. They have the potential to become gods, which is the origin of the name GENSHIN. Means something like proto-god or original god, or allogene is a figure in Gnosticism. This isn't me saying it. This is the best answer on Quora.
Who cares about the best answer on Quora? Is the best answer on Quora an actual expert in the field? And even if that is the case, accepting that there are themes within Gnosticism that are being talked about in the story of the game does not mean that the game is literally trying to be like, aha, you should convert to the Gnostic faith. Not every video game that exists is trying to be religious propaganda.
Said that this is a figure in Gnosticism with both supernatural power and potential to become a god. Now, what is an impact? You're talking about you're changing society. You have an impact on the world, right? So those who become like...
Have you ever considered that impact is just a pretty common thing we've put into anime-style games ever since it was popularized in Evangelion? The idea of an impact being a central focus in the story is kind of a normal-ass thing. Let's also consider that the other games made by this exact company literally have impact in their names too. Honkai Impact 3rd is made by the same company. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to put a whole lot of thought into the name of the game here when it shares a name with a completely different game, with a different plot, in a different setting, with different characters.
Like God. This is straight from Genesis. The serpent said this, eat this fruit and you'll be like God. Your eyes will be open. You're knowing good and evil. See, God just wanted us to know good, but the serpent said, no, no, no. You can become like God.
That's not what is being said there. Holy fucking shit. And I'm glad at least he said the serpent and not Satan, because the serpent in Genesis and Satan are not the same people. The only bit of text in the Bible that references Satan as a serpent is when you get later into Revelation, and it says that Jesus will crush the head of Satan, that old serpent. But in Genesis, it never specifically says that he is the snake in the Garden of Eden. That's literally somebody taking stuff from two different authors and mingling them together. What was it that Gene Kim always calls it? He calls it harmonizing scripture, when it's literally just taking everything out of context to make up your own shit.
Lucifer himself said, I will be like the Most High. I will put my throne up in the stars. I will be like God. And here it is. The humans have the power to become
Are we done
like
talking
God
about Genshin Impact? Are we just talking about the Bible
now?
now?
In this clip, we're going to see a little bit about, real quickly, just what the plot is. And they're going to tell you from their own mouths that these beings fell to earth. And that
I don't care about that. You can literally just play the game. Hold on. Because I know we're going to get copyright cucked if we hit that.
And they say it's not for us, but we will take over that throne. We'll take the heavenly throne. And yeah, there's a ashes of the ruined world that the dragon for a millennia, which is 1,000 years. Interesting, because the Bible clearly says in Revelation that the dragon was cast down into that pit for 1,000 years. And it says...
Yes, 1,000 is a common number in literally all media. No, we're done. We're done. I'm done. I can't do any more of this. I want to do more of this. I can't do any more of this. Little Light Studios exhausts me. I don't know if you guys understand. Little Light Studios actually, like, they well up ire in me more than I can manage. Because back when I went to Pensacola Christian Academy, this is the type of shit that I was fed. This is the bullshit that I dealt with at that school every single day. If you liked Harry Potter, you were going to hell. If you liked Pokemon, you were going to hell. Dragon Ball Z, it probably had magic in there somewhere, going to hell. I'm tired. I don't know how else to say I'm tired. of regurgitating the same point over and over again, that this is a story. Like a video game story is a story divorced from reality so that the story can work. If you believe that the Bible is reality, if you believe that everything that happened in there was historical fact and everything in that book is true, then you should at the very least be able to accept the idea that a different story with different origins, different characters, different meanings behind its stuff is not reality and is not trying to argue that it's reality. I'm not going to tell you not to be a Christian. That would be a dumb thing for me to try to argue right here. But what I will say is that please have a firmer grasp on reality so that every single thing that exists that is fictional is not somehow trying to subvert your beliefs. Because Little Light Studios, I gotta say, and I'm addressing the whole studio, not just the presenter here. Because, again, I know Little Light Studios has watched my shit. They've commented on my videos. So I know at least somebody from there is watching. I'm just going to say this. If your faith is as strong as you say it is, then a video game shouldn't have the capacity to shake it. So please, calm your tits, back the fuck off, and go eat a cookie or something. Go drink some milk. Go take a shit. Go do something enjoyable besides trying to just spread your own flavor of misery onto everybody else that enjoys things that are not the things you enjoy. Chaos the Dragon, thank you for redeeming your points for an Owol. Sylvia Silica, thank you for redeeming your points for an Hada Hada. You fucking degens. Every single one of you needs to go. The FBI should be looking into your houses. I swear to God. As always, everybody, let me know what you think in the comments section below. It's Little Light Studios. There's really not much more to say. It's a bunch of children in adult suits, desperately trying to make the entire world make-believe. Hit the like button if you haven't already, subscribe if you haven't already, and as always, everybody, insert end of video tagline here.